Welcome back to ASU GSV's Education Innovation Summit. I'm Dr. Rod Berger with Corps of Education and American Ed TV, standing next to Jessica Reid, the Chief Academic Officer at Lightsail Education. Jessica, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Well, it's nice. We've had a lot of fun off camera, and we were saying hopefully the blooper reel they'll sort of keep in the back room in the files. But let's sort of chat about what we talked about. Obviously, Lightsail Ed launched in October, right?
Right.
Lots of different announcements. Look, you're focused in literacy, right, and digitizing really the library experience in a personalized manner.
Right.
Is that doing it justice? Sort of give me the elevator on Lightsail Ed.
Yeah, so Lightsail Education is an ed tech company, and our product that we have right now is an e-reader with embedded assessments. And so what we do is we take the best books, the books that kids want to read and the books that teachers want students to read. We embed them with assessments, and as students read and take those assessments, we feed the analytics to teachers in real time.
Talk with us about the development of that. How did you, if we think about kids, I think oftentimes the kids or the students are the ones sort of left behind when it comes to developing in ed tech circles. So how did you incorporate the kid's voice in what they actually see with Lightsail?
Yeah, I actually think that what you're hitting on is a key differentiator of Lightsail from any other company out there or any other product. And so my background, I was a teacher for several years. I was an assistant principal. I then coached teachers. I then coached principals. I worked in networks of schools in New York City coordinating large school literacy initiatives. And the entire time that I was developing iteration 1 of Lightsail with our team, I was still embedded in real classrooms, in real schools across New York City. And so what we've created is a tool that we often say is by teachers and for teachers. And then the evolution of Lightsail is constantly informed by my continued work in classrooms, my team's work in classrooms, and focus groups with students and teachers.
One thing that was really interesting, and one, I love the video on the website of you and the kids in a real school talking about Lightsail, is the concept that a young girl was saying that she enjoyed the ability of her teacher to be able to comment on her thinking.
Yeah.
That was really interesting to me, and it was really just sort of embedded in that video. What is it like? I thought about the relationship between the student and the teacher.
Right.
Was that something that was intentional, or is that just a byproduct of everything that's going into Lightsail?
No. Every single aspect of Lightsail, and there's a lot. It's an insanely robust product, but everything about it is insanely intentional, but also grounded in research-based best practices. And so one of the tools that you're talking about is around feedback, right? And so we thought a lot about how do you, apart from great books, how do you get kids just like insanely excited about reading? And so in addition to having these great books that kids are amped to read, we also have this annotation feature that leverages social media. So students are reading along, they stop, they jot their thinking, and then it goes to sort of like a Facebook style feed where teachers can see their thinking, other students can see their thinking, and there can be dialogue. And we wanted to create not only an opportunity to illuminate what's going on with a student as she's reading, but also allow teachers to see in real time what kids are thinking, to provide feedback, because feedback, especially real-time feedback, can help move the needle north, not even can, it does help move the needle north for students in terms of literacy achievement. But then we also wanted to make reading fun.
For those who are concerned that just the act of reading is a skill and an activity that's sort of dying on the vine, just when we look at technology and kids that are stuck on Facebook and you really can't pry the phone or the tablet away, is that the case in what you're seeing, and what's been the reaction when a kid picks up a tablet and says, wait a minute, this isn't what I thought reading was about? Tell me about that.
So that doesn't happen. So there's a lot of things going on, and you actually hit upon a number of them. So in your typical American classroom, there are not a lot of books, not as many as you need. You need to create what one of my favorite literacy experts, Kelly Gallagher, calls a book flood, right? Kids just should have so many different choices. So no matter their age, their ability, their gender, their ethnicity, their interests, there is something that grabs them as a reader. But that's not the case in most classrooms. And so kids, pretty much from like the moment they're born, are playing with devices, and they have this very positive sort of like attitude towards the device that they may or may not, particularly if they're developing readers or reluctant readers, have when it comes to a book. And so you give them a device, and right off the bat, that's more appealing to them than a paper book. You then incorporate like social media type tools that also in their mind feel like very positive and are exciting to them. And then you take a book, but not just any book, a library that is full of just incredible books that appeal to all readers. And for the first time, many students look at our library and feel like there's actually a book that they want to read. And so between like great content and the device and these sort of like social media tools, you essentially create this trifecta.
I like what you're saying. I mean, of course, it makes me think about my experiences in education and as a kid and what it was like to read in those books that I thoroughly enjoyed. And for me, Choose Your Own Adventure in the 80s, those books were, a lot of boys liked those because you had some control. And I'm hearing that kids that are using Lightsail have a stake in the games. And that's what I think is very interesting. All right, let's close with this, Jessica. So obviously your background is rich in education, right? Now you're utilizing that and providing those expertise in a technology sector. When we look back at your education experiences as a young girl, was there one teacher, and who was that instilled that initial confidence to say, you can have and do all the things that you want to when you grow up?
Yeah.
I'd love to know who that teacher was.
I can't really say that I had a teacher instill that in me, but I do think so much of my work in literacy stems from my mom never holding me back from the things that I wanted to read. And so while there is a very real need to move students, especially students who are behind, very quickly up a staircase of text complexity to help them be college and career ready, there's also an equally important need to honor choice and give kids the opportunity to read things that they're genuinely excited about reading so that they become these lifelong, avid, passionate readers. And I believe that my passion to create a product that does that comes from my mom and the way that she made reading something that was so exciting and special for me.
Well, I'm excited that you're bringing that back with Lightsail. It's going to be really interesting to see how everything is going. It sounds like a lot of great news at Lightsail. So we want to thank you, Jessica, and have a great time at the conference. Once again, I'm Dr. Rod Berger with the Core of Education and American Ed TV, because education matters.